Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 4 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Washington where a man who barricaded himself in a home has now been taken into custody. Now, Beaufort County Sheriff's Office says the deputies and officers with the Washington Police Department went to a home in the 2000 block of West 5th Street for a domestic dispute. Officials say during the encounter, the man ran into the home and barricaded himself inside. Deputies say the man's mother got out of the home safely, leaving just the man inside. Shortly after sharing about the situation, the sheriff's office sent out an update saying that it had been resolved. And now we want to turn to Washington, where specifically Washington, D.C., where the government shutdown that is looming could see a deal, a bipartisan deal, come to fruition to avoid a potential government shutdown. NBC's Alice Barr has more.
House members returned to an icy Washington today looking to unfreeze funding for large chunks of the government, now in a partial shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson predicting passage by tomorrow of a Senate-passed package that fully funds most of the government while splitting off the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm confident that we'll do it at least by Tuesday.
Congress then has 2 weeks to negotiate the immigration enforcement reforms Democrats are demanding, including ending roving ICE patrols and body cameras on all federal immigration officers. Speaker Johnson citing President Trump's border czar.
I think even Tom Homan has acknowledged both of those things are acceptable and what he was intending to do already. So I think we're on the path to get agreement.
The top Democrat in the House underscoring that path must lead to dramatic reform.
The administration can't just talk the talk. They need to walk the walk.
Some leading Democrats urging a no vote on even the short-term package, pressing to repeal a huge spike in funding ICE secured under last year's so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
I just don't see how in good conscience Democrats can vote for continuing ICE funding when they're killing American citizens.
That amid weekend vigils in Minneapolis for 2 people killed by federal immigration officers, Renee Good.
It's been very, very difficult.
And ICU nurse Alex Preddy.
He lived to help others, and that's what he did. And we were so fortunate to know him and have him as a friend.
Reminders of what's at stake as lawmakers look for agreement to reopen the government with key reforms. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, thank you, Alice, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. And today we saw quite a bit of melt occur across eastern North Carolina. Obviously, not losing all of the snow, but certainly lost quite a bit. It is still very much present, though, in eastern North Carolina, but it's becoming less visible on satellite. Obviously, the sun setting is certainly affecting our visible snowfall. I'm sure we'll see a brighter picture coming up tomorrow, but again, you can kind of see everything slowly kind of fading away. That is more the sunshine, losing out on sunlight versus snow melt, but there is certainly some melt that is occurring across eastern North Carolina. As you can see, more of the Publix parking lot kind of in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. More pavement showing up there, but still quite a bit of white overlooking not just central Pitt County, but across all of eastern North Carolina. It is it's been a cold day today, certainly a little bit warmer than what we were anticipating. We were looking at air temperatures last night, maybe a little bit more closer to freezing, but we have warmed up into the mid to upper 30s. That has sped up that melting process. So while tomorrow morning is still going to be treacherous on the roads, don't get me wrong, it is going to be rough, especially in neighborhoods and secondary roads. That's where you're going to run into the biggest headaches or the biggest travel hurdles that you'll need to get over. Winds starting to shift from the northwest to the southwest. Right now in Swan Quarter, 4 mile per hour sustained wind out of the northwest. Hatteras, 8 mile per hour breeze out of the northwest. Whereas Kenansville and Goldsboro seeing more of a southwesterly wind at 5 and 10 miles per hour respectively. Now those southwesterly winds not going to do a whole lot for us for today, but tomorrow they're certainly going to help warm us up. Getting back into the mid-40s tomorrow afternoon. Going to feel quite nice. Later on this evening, though, air temperatures dropping down into the teens. 18 degrees early tomorrow morning. Is going to be cold out there, and it is going to be icy as well. With everything melting, there is a lot of water, a lot of standing water on the roads as it's kind of getting dammed up by the snow on the side of the road. So the usual drainage isn't nearly as effective with the snow in place. So tomorrow morning, plan on icy conditions across eastern North Carolina. But by the time we get to around noon, we are going to be seeing that melt really increase. Air temperatures in the mid-40s tomorrow afternoon will only encourage that melt to accelerate. Now, we do have another round of rain that's going to roll through the east coming up more so Wednesday morning than Tuesday night, but you will start to see cloud cover get thicker through the day tomorrow. There's that cold front passing by, but keep an eye on that area of low pressure further back towards the west. That could end up influencing our forecast as we make our way into Wednesday night into Thursday, possibly seeing a chance of maybe a wintry mix showing up. There again, you see some blues and some pinks on your screen. I think this is going to be more of a wintry mix than a snow event. Most of eastern North Carolina largely just going to be looking at freezing rain and cold rain. That's going to be for just about everyone along and south of Highway 264. But north of 264, you do have a chance of possibly picking up maybe a dusting or maybe an inch or two of snow as this system rolls through. It's not going to be nearly as impactful as what we just got done with this past weekend, but do want to highlight that we could again see some snowflakes falling. I don't think we're going to be seeing ground temperatures get cold enough to support that snowfall until we get to around midnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But at that point, again, still looking at a potential of some flakes coming down, so we can't completely rule out some accumulations as we head through, again, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. For Friday, mid-40s, lots of sunshine. We'll stick with the mid-40s on Saturday, low 40s on Sunday, mid-40s to upper 40s for Monday and Tuesday of next week, with dry conditions holding through the weekend. That'll be the first weekend of 2026 that does not have any chance of precipitation tacked onto it. Of course, we're going to have to get through some wet and potentially icy days coming up from really tomorrow night through Wednesday, pretty much all of Wednesday. Wednesday morning we'll have rain showers. Wednesday in the middle of the day we'll have rain showers. Wednesday evening we'll have rain showers. And then we could see some freezing rain, maybe some snowflakes, possibly some sleet coming up Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And after that, we should be done with the moisture for several days, certainly all the way through Super Bowl weekend. That's all we have time for today's 4 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday.